just before we get started, I really need to go to the toilet. Now you may be wondering, oh, why didn't you just go to the toilet before starting the video? But some of the things that I'll be talking about I feel may cause a looseness in the bladder. Especially with, I'm sure, some of the hot comments that will be coming after this video. After all this debate is, yeah. Anyways, as it says in the title, this is a debate video on how we think Naruto may end, or what's going to happen in Naruto. So more like a prediction video for people to do their thing. I'll say what I think is going to happen, and then we shall go from there. Firstly, I think we should talk about Kabuto and Itachi, because to be honest, it hasn't started yet, but Itachi ran off. Kabuto we haven't seen for a while, and I feel like they're going to have a battle, and it's going to be pretty epic. And undoubtedly, if it happens, then Itachi would win. And then I guess Itachi would return to the scene, and by that stage Sasuke will probably be on the scene, and we have some form of effect on Sasuke, but I will get back later. Get back to that later. Yeah, so I think that'd be cool, and then all the like Zetsus or whatever Kabuto's doing would be destroyed. Actually, how much of it is Kabuto, like genuinely I can't remember, how much of the army is Kabuto controlling and how much of it is Toby controlling? Because like with the Kyubis, or the Jinchurikis, pardon if I'm saying stuff wrong, I'm not Japanese after all, but yeah, the Jinchurikis I guess are being controlled by Toby, but is it just Zetsu or the Zetsu army, or who's being controlled by Kabuto? Because I guess if Kabuto dies, that could be quite significant. Also, what's the beef? What's the gravy? What's going on with the Kages, and Madara? What's going on there? Do we think that that's going to keep on going until the end, or do you think that's going to finish before Naruto and Toby? Or do you think Naruto and Toby are going to finish and then they're going to go to Madara? Like, Madara may have like a bigger influence in all of this than we may think. So what do you think? I think Madara has just been resurrected and hasn't got... He may know stuff, and they may be able to get like information out of him in order to defeat Toby, whoever he is, if we ever find out. But apart from that, I don't think he's that significant. But yeah, please tell me what you think on that fight. So the next one is obviously Toby and Naruto. Do you think, I mean it's Toby, Naruto, and then Guy and Kakashi are there as well. Do you think Guy or Kakashi, one of them, are going to die? I have a feeling Guy's going to open his 8th gate and do something like epic and take down like one of the tailed beasts by himself or something. I don't see why he would, but he was going to in the most recent chapter, so you never know. I don't think Kakashi will die in this. If he dies at all, it will be when Sasuke comes, I think. Otherwise, if he doesn't die, he may even become the Hokage if, for whatever reason. But yeah, I have a feeling now that Naruto and Toby, I think this fight's gonna, like, people are like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, Toby's like the main bad guy, he's got the Moon's Eye plan and everything sorted out, like, he's the main bad guy. If this fight ends, then how does Sasuke come into it? And then that's like the final battle, I guess, but that's not connected to the Great War. It's more like Naruto and Sasuke, it's just a personal battle. Like, what's going to be the connection? Because there has to be something in there. Like, do you think Sasuke will come as, like, before Toby dies? I think so, but I don't really, because I don't see, the only reason that I would see Toby dying before Sasuke to get there, getting there, would be for Kishimoto to try and get, like, for Kishimoto to reveal Toby's identity, which would then help, like, a new sort of twist come about. Maybe something like, the story about Itachi being actually good. maybe that gets turned on its head and after all Itachi's the big bad guy, something like that. Or maybe Madara is once again behind an awful lot of things. So yeah, and I guess if his identity is revealed before Sasuke gets there, that could have like a very positive effect on Sasuke or have a very negative effect. And whatever happens with Itachi, it will be interlinked, I think. But yeah, again, that's another thing to tell me what you think. Finally, the big one, the headliner, the Naruto v Sasuke. You know, obviously this is going to be the last fight. If it's not the last fight, then whatever comes after it's going to be boring. You know, like when you go to a festival or a concert and you watch like the headliners, like Muse. You're like, yeah, Muse, that was so amazing. And then if anyone comes on after that, people want to start leaving, or you know, or it's just like compared to that was absolutely rubbish. I mean, the B Kazame fight had that kind of feeling. Like, I think the B Kazame fight was after the Pain fight, wasn't it? I don't know. There was a big fight, and then it went to B Kazame, and then it was like, oh, that was cool, but you know, whatever. Similar to like, you know, the Kakashi Hidan Kakuza fight in the manga, it didn't feel like a very big fight. The only reason I remember it is because the anime was so sick. But getting off point, I think. Yeah, so basically, I think there's 4 obvious outcomes with the Naruto Sasuke fight. So there's, you know, first they both die, which Kishimoto's been leading us to. I don't think this is going to happen, really. I mean, it could be one of those moments where they both fight and they're both about to die, and it's all like epic and, you know, emotional, and everyone's realizing, you know, how like they trade blows and feel emotional. It's kind of gay. Not that I have anything against gay people, but it's, you know, in a sort of macho shonen manga, that kind of thing seems a bit weird. So yeah, that's kind of, I think obviously Kishimoto wants us to think that they're both going to die, or like the fight is going to be, he's trying to make it seem like that there's no obvious, you know, like before people were like, oh, Sasuke's so much stronger, or now Naruto would kick Sasuke's ass, you know, and obviously Kishimoto wants us to think they're on equal playing fields. So that's the first outcome. The second outcome, well, not second, like when I number them, it's just because there's 4 and I decided that it would be in this order, not in any specific order, just this is a random order. The second one I'm going to be talking about is Sasuke dying, which I think is probably perhaps the least likely, because it will be sort of anticlimactic. Like if they have a big fight and Naruto wins, it's just like, oh oh well. And then, like, you know, he didn't save him. Secondly, everything that Sasuke's been doing was worthless because he just got killed by Naruto. Also, Sakura would be upset, and like I don't think Kishimoto would lead us that way. The third outcome would be that neither die. This would probably end up being the cheesiest, most facepalm ending if like neither of them die. I mean, to be honest, a lot of mangas have death, and that's good. Like if no one died, it would lack that kind of emotion. You know, when Asuma died and Jiraiya died, it was like, you know, oh my god, how can this happen? Like Kishimoto obviously isn't afraid to kill off characters. It's just who. Obviously who. What a stupid question. Yeah, if neither die and like Sasuke turns, like, you know how Nagato was somehow, you know, Naruto and Nagato spoke and then their problems were resolved, and Pain from being the biggest pain in the arse becomes a pretty fairy. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I'd dislike that the most if neither of them die. It would just be like, oh, so what now? Sasuke's kind of like a criminal, you know, he's done all these things. He'd like, yeah, it would suck. So then that just leaves one outcome, one left, I keep looking to my paper, but I know what I'm going to say. Naruto's death. It's a good thing I cleared my bladder. Cleaned my bladder. I really can't speak. Anyways, yes, cleared my bladder. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Naruto dying. I think this is probably, in terms of like plot twists or things that we like, oh, something horrible that could happen, or who if someone were to die at the end of the series that would make the biggest impact, who do we think it would be? Most predictably, we'd say Naruto. And though it sounds to be, it does sound like quite a good ending if he sorts retribution and Sasuke is saved through Naruto's sacrifice, and then something like Sasuke becomes Hokage with the Senju ideals, then that would be like, the probably someone died, it's sad, but then it's also a happy ending. That's the most predictable one, and if the ending just was like that, I think I would be a bit disappointed. I'd prefer if the ending was more like complicated with like, Itachi, Madara, Toby, all of those coming in. Yeah, I think that I to be honest, I'm really glad that I'm not writing this manga, because Kishimoto has dug himself into a hole so deep that I don't think anyone will be happy. Like, well, obviously a lot of people will be happy with the ending, however he writes it, but not everyone. He can't satisfy everyone. Obviously, there's more than these 4 outcomes to the Naruto Sasuke fight, I think. Like Sasuke killing everyone and owning the world, but I think these are the 4 most likely outcomes. So tell me what you think about those. Lastly, which characters do you think are gonna die? I mean, like, I've kind of, as I've been speaking about it, I've kind of like named some characters, like Kabuto, I think is gonna die. The resurrection of Madara is gonna die. Toby's gonna die, I think. It would be weird if he didn't. Unless Naruto learnt some seal that sealed them away into like a happy land. So if they ever came back, they'd be goodies. Yeah, I don't think that's going to catch on. But yeah, I'm sort of more asking towards like Sakura. Do you think Sakura's going to die? I'm not sure. I really hope Inno's going to die, because I just don't like her. I really don't like Inno. Who else would I like to see die? I'd like to see Rock Lee get some action. Like, all of the friends like Shikamaru and Neji and Kiba. If they all jumped in, that would be cool to see. If they all like ganged up on Sasuke and then they were like, raw, like, what's that, 9 of them against Sasuke, that'd be cool. So that's it from me, really. That's all I've really got to say. So thanks for watching. There's no prize for if you counted the amount of accessories I had on. I don't know why I did that. It was like, I'm sort of sitting here talking, I look to my left, I look to my right, and there's like hats, there's glasses, there's masks. That's what we do in that's what we do in England. That's what we do. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, then I've got another debate video. I got 2 other debate videos, one about manga books, like drawing books, and one about who you think is Toby, some theories on Toby, and so subscribe if you like my stuff, and also check out my art, because I don't just do this, I also draw. I draw very well, in fact. That's a masterclass. But yeah, I got DeviantArt and all the stuff, and there's some videos for it as well. It'd be cool if people could join the contest that I joined, so that we can all have a lovely time. Oh god, I really hate signing off videos. Anyways, serious now. Okay, thanks for watching. Peace out, rival, off and away.